Up next to help us get through our fitness struggles at home, we have Terrance Hutchinson here to talk to us about how to stay fit during all this while we're stuck indoors. Terrance, how are you?
I'm great. And yourself?
I'm awesome. So, Terrance, please let us know a couple of tips on how to stay fit during all of this.
Basically, since we're going into the coronavirus pandemic right now, it's a very unprecedented time. So we're being quarantined, a forced quarantine. So most gyms, most box gyms are closed, shut down because of this pandemic. So you have to readjust your mind right quick so you can readjust your body composition while you're doing the quarantine process. So it's an important thing to do is hack your environment, whether you're in your home office, you're doing yard work, you're working in the kitchen. You want to make sure that you're utilizing maybe your chairs, maybe a coffee table, dining room table, kitchen counter, anything that you can do to do planks, squats, leg lifts. If you could have resistance bands, you can hook around the leg table or the bed pole and really do a lot of resistance training that way. You don't need a whole lot of space. If you just move away your dining room table, that's your space right there. If you have a step bench, some dumbbells, kettlebells, things like that, you can really get a good effective exercise while you're at home. Even if you have 2 gallons of water, you can use those as ways to do shoulder presses, dumbbell curls, tricep kickbacks, deadlifts. It's not much, but it's going to keep you really active, keep the blood flowing to the muscles. It's going to keep you with great joint health. It's going to keep your mind focused, have that brain-body connectivity, all while you're doing this quarantine process. Because right now, what we're doing, stress may kind of elevate right now. Cortisol hormones go elevation. So you want to try to do some exercises around the house that you can really lower the cortisol hormones so you can keep your stress down. So when stress goes up, guess what? It activates the fat cells in the body. It activates the munchies. A lot of cravings get to activating, especially if you're working, you're working remotely from home. So a lot of times you had a APT, and anterior pelvic tilt, where you at the computer and you just typing away. So you got that spinal cord tilt from the hip, from the lumbar area to the back of the neck. So when that happens and you're trying to complete an assignment, you're reaching for a bag of chips, you got a cookie, and all those things are going to reward maybe the stress of the work. So you got to make sure that you stay mindful of that. Get up and stretch every hour on an hour. Increase the H2O as much as possible. Take a break and get out, get some sunshine. So you really just have to be mindful and have a strategy, have a structural plan to make sure that you're staying fit.
Right. So for those who, I know you were mentioning the munchies and snacking and things like that. So let's talk briefly about our actual nutritional health. How can we do our best when it comes to eating at home? I feel like personally, I've cooked about 700 times, and today's only Friday. I started cooking Monday. I'm starting to get sick of it. So what do you suggest for people who are stuck at home? Probably, I don't have kids, but people who have several kids or just an overall family that they have to take care of, what's the best way to be healthy?
Right now, because we're quarantined, we went to the supermarket and we're buying all this food for survival. So now we have all this food in the house, we're quarantined, so we got to eat, we got to prepare our meals more than usual. Before the quarantine process, we were traveling, we in traffic, we at work, we in the gym, so we're not at home as much. But now, so the whole key thing about it now, if you with kids, obviously you got to cook meal for the kids. Okay, but you got to have a strategic plan. What I'm seeing right now with a lot of clients is that they're buying foods that is easy to make, just pop in the microwave. They're buying a whole lot of snacks. So you're munching. So now if you're single, you have to really stick on a routine. Not to prepare too much because you're going to have so much food left over. All of a sudden, you got to eat that food, okay? So if you're not careful, you may end up gaining 10, 20 pounds depending on who you are. Okay, so you have to make sure that you're sticking with your fiber, your fruits and your vegetables, you're eating light, salads, a lot of lean meats, No high fatty meats at all, no heavy carbs, no junk food, nothing white, So you want to make sure that you're increasing the water and maybe doing some broths or some soups, something light. Do meal replacement shakes, protein shakes, a lot of berries and kale and stuff like that. So stick with liquid nutrition. So you're giving your digestive system a break, or meal replacement shakes for breakfast, have a sensible lunch, and then snacks in between. And then at supper time, you want to have another meal replacement shake as well. So that way, you're controlling your digestive system. You're not over consuming with the high calorie meals, and you're controlling your stress levels, controlling your cravings. So that would be the best way. But everybody's different. Everybody's, quarantine situation is different. But if you're by yourself, you want to make sure that you're eating small meals, cooking small batches, and have fast-acting fruits around, or vegetables, something that you can peel once or bite into, and then you're good to go. So you have to be specific and strategic with your nutrition.
Great tips, honestly, because I needed it. I needed it. I've been eating like a terrible person, eating ramen like I'm back in college. So it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But let's talk briefly about your podcast and all the things that you do yourself. So let's touch on that.
Okay. Well, the podcast is Your Best Lifestyles Podcast. It's named after my business. It's living your best lifestyle that you possibly can. Okay. Being really good to yourself, putting yourself first among everybody else. Self-care is everything. If you're not taking care of yourself first, then you're going to be a liability to family members or friends. You're not going to be able to conduct business on a maximum level. So it's all about being high productive. And we want to always interview individuals who are high productive, are they thought leaders, are motivators, inspirational people, everything like that, because the podcast is pretty much the struggles of success. However, it's also about health and wellness, fitness and nutrition, taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, environmentally, controlling your space, spiritually, and financially. So when you put all those components together, you want to become a more well-rounded person versus just somebody to say, oh, okay, I work out, this.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Terrance. I can say that I learned a lot, so I hope our viewers did. I'm gonna try to work out a little bit more. I'm a gym rat, so I like really lifting some really big weights, and I don't have that right now. So I'm gonna try to get my best life going and live my best lifestyle. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. Stay safe out there. Practice the protocols from the CDC, and drink a lot of water, and multivitamins, vitamin C, and all that stuff like that. And just protect yourself while you're out there. And congratulations on your podcast. And thank you for having me on again.
Thank you.
All right. See you later. Bye-bye.